extremely difficult period. We'll just try and reestablish that link with Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu in a moment. Shuja, we saw an attack on an army convoy in Kazigund just 2 days ago. So there is trouble in South Kashmir, but in North Kashmir, the picture is slightly different. More foreign terrorists, but security forces have been alert and they beat back this suicide attackers.
Well, that's right, Gaurav. In fact, this is something that a lot of agencies were pointing towards. If you remember, last couple of weeks, we have reported and heard of a lot of infiltration bids. In fact, some of them were foiled, but there was always apprehension that many of these militants might have managed to sneak into North Kashmir. That's one of the reasons, why the security forces have been on extra vigil, all through this time. Particularly why the CRPF personnel there in the camp were, very vigilant and could foil this attack. Because from all the, evidence that has been recovered from these militants, it does look like that they were prepared for a long haul. The kind of ammunition that they were carrying,
yes.
The manner that they were trying to enter into the camp, it did seem that it was a Fidayeen attack of the nature of some of the biggest attacks that have happened in the valley.
It could well have been. It could well have been. Stay with me. This could have been a massive terror attack. Fortunately, the security forces were alert and killed the foreign terrorists. And that brings us to a big burning question of the day. How should India deal with Pakistan-sponsored terror? The manner in which these terrorists from Pakistan are striking. Is it time to hit terror at its source? How should India deal with Pakistan-sponsored terror threats? Are we too reactive? How to eliminate safe havens of terror within Kashmir? And I want to quickly bring in Engineer Rashid, independent MLA from Langate. He joins us on the broadcast. RP Singh of the BJP and Nasir Hussain of the Congress party with us on the broadcast. But Engineer Rashid, to you first. Brilliant operation by security forces where Pakistani terrorists were killed, sir.
Yeah, we all want that death and destruction should stop. That is why we are always stressing for a political solution. A military solution is impossible, whether from the militant side or from the government of India. We need to show patience, we need to show courage, we need to show will, sincerity, and that alone can help not only India and Pakistan, but the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are victims of worst violence since 1989. The only way forward is the dialogue, but a meaningful dialogue, a time-bound dialogue. We don't celebrate deaths, whosoever gets killed, whether it's the army man, it's a militant or a civilian, whosoever, because human lives are precious.
But Pakistani terrorists were killed here. I'm sure you condemn. I'm sure you condemn Pakistan for sending terrorists, Engineer Rashid. I am certain you will condemn Pakistan for sending terrorists.
Sir, we condemn all sorts of violence, but my simple question will be, what were your security forces
I asked a very specific question. I'm looking for a very specific answer, sir. Pakistan is sending terrorists into Kashmir, and those Pakistani terrorists are also killing Kashmiris.
I am telling you the same thing. What were the security forces doing? That means the army and BSF is either incompetent or there is something like an industry running at your borders. If they are really Pakistani militants, if they are so, how can you claim they are Pakistani militants? Then ask BSF.
I have faith in the Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police. I am sure so should you. I have.
No, you can.
Sir, you have a person called Zulfikar Hassan. Zulfikar Hassan is Inspector General of CRPF. Zulfikar Hassan, Inspector General of CRPF, said they are Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists. I am talking about CRPF IG. I have him on record. But RP Singh,
security force.
RP Singh, explain what would you say? What would you say to Engineer Rashid when he says, what is the army doing at the line of control? How could Pakistani terrorists come in? RP Singh.
Engineer Rashid, I have to say something in Hindi for Engineer Rashid. खाते यहाँ की है, गाते वहाँ की है ये लोग. And we can't help it. People like Engineer Rashid, he has sworn on Indian Constitution and sworn on the J&K Constitution, and then has doing all this. I mean, laughing won't help, Mr. Rashid. Ultimately, they will kill you also. Don't bother. I mean, you see what is happening in Pakistan. The same set of terrorists are killing Pakistanis also that way. But they, I mean, you
don't worry about us. We are already dead bodies.
And
you have killed us before getting
you also. I mean,
don't teach us sermons.
Don't bother,
I
sir.
don't need your sermons. We take oath on J&K Constitution and how does Indian Constitution debar me from telling the truth? And the truth is that India is the aggressor. You have occupied my land. Don't give me sermons.
No, Engineer Rashid, I think you are so wrong. You are so wrong. India is not an aggressor. Sir,
go do whatever you want to go. We give it up to you.
GD Bakshi, Major General GD Bakshi also joins me on the broadcast. General GD Bakshi, Engineer Rashid is an elected representative in Jammu Kashmir Assembly. He says, what is the army doing at the LOC? How can Pakistani terrorists come in?
So we have such a big border.
Hold on, RP Singh. Let me get General GD Bakshi to respond to that. General GD Bakshi has been deployed at the line of control. General GD Bakshi, what would you tell Engineer Rashid even when he wrongly claims India is the aggressor?
Engineer Rashid, I am seriously sometimes concerned about the degree of his mental balance. He is prone to just yelling and screaming and making all sorts of hallucinatory accusations against the armed forces. I wouldn't give them any credence at all. Apropos his question that what
General
is the
Bakshi,
army
your
doing
army has
on
used
the
us
line
as
of
forced
control,
labor
it
for
is
14
doing
years.
bloody well its
Here's
job.
a journalist from Mumbai with me who has recently visited my area. Ask him what he has found here.
All right.
Ask him what he has found.
Please ask the man to talk in his turn. Otherwise, I mean, there is no point in of us sitting here. This is not a monologue by Mr. Rashid.
One by one, gentlemen. One by one.
You speak in your turn, Mr.
Mind your language first.
We will hear you.
Gentlemen, one by one. One by one.
So as
what
I
do you
was
mean
saying,
by mental balance, sir? You should mind your language. I respect you. I respect you.
As I was saying, then kindly let me talk. Thank you. And as I was saying, the army is doing its job on the border. It's doing it with a great amount of effectiveness. The infiltration levels have come down by 70 to 80%, if not more, ever since the fence was put into place. Our boys are alert, as Engineer Rashid would be very well aware. They have been pounding and punishing the Pakistani posts that were involved in facilitating the infiltration. They have received some fire assaults of a very high magnitude which have destroyed their complete bunkers. Visual video evidence has been provided just because the Pakistanis are now in the habit of telling lies and saying that no surgical strike happened, no fire assault happened. So we have been providing the evidence. We are aware that in the last few days the Indian Army has gone on an overdrive and we have eliminated a large number of terrorists. Command and control attrition has been the primary. After the killing of Burhan Wani, Sabzar has also been eliminated.
Yes.
And so will his successor be very soon.
Okay.
There are just actually a handful of terrorists left in the valley, 150 to 200. The problem, please let me finish. The problem is not so much the terrorists. The problem is population control. By all their, lung exercises, these so-called votaries of human rights have seen that there is a lot of dilution of our deployment from the hinterland areas in South and Central Kashmir. Because of their yelling and screaming, these areas were uncovered, and because they were uncovered, the Burhan Wanis of the world and the Sabzars of the world arose there.
So I want a reaction from Nasir Hussain quickly before I take a break. You've made your point, General. Nasir Hussain, what would you tell Engineer Rashid when he says two things? One, what is the army doing at the LC if infiltration is taking place, if Pakistani terrorists are coming in? And two, the Indian army is the aggressor, as Engineer Rashid puts it. Nasir Hussain, quick reaction, sir.
See, I would first like to congratulate the Indian Army, the Jawans at the Bandipora post who have who have waved off the attack by the Fidayeens and they killed 4 terrorists over there. I think it's a wonderful job done by the alert army Jawans that were there this morning. We need to congratulate them, and whether they were Kashmiris or Pakistanis or homegrown terrorists or foreign terrorists, it's a matter of investigation which will be done by the army. I think we shouldn't get into that at this point of the point is that they have thwarted an attack, they have killed the terrorists. That's important. We need to congratulate them. Point number 2. My point is, I would not like to get into an argument with either Engineer Rashid or someone else. My point is that Indian Army is doing its job. Both
you made that point.
LOC
I have to take a quick break at this point. But Engineer Rashid, will you, like all other panelists, will you congratulate the CRPF on a brilliant operation? I want a response to that on the other side of a quick break. And also, are the separatists now feeling the heat with the NIA launching a massive raid against the separatists and Pakistan funding that's being made available to these separatists? The CRPF succeeded in killing 4 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists in a brilliant pre-dawn attack. And Engineer Rashid, Pakistani terror in the Kashmir Valley, you compliment the CRPF for this brilliant operation, sir?
Terror is terror. For you, it's a Pakistani terror, and we are facing in Kashmir the Indian terror. We are the sufferers. We are the victims.
What is Indian terror? Excuse me, sir. What is Indian terror? I am sorry. Aren't you an elected representative? Don't you swear allegiance to the Constitution?
Indian terror is that you have killed, sir. Yeah, Indian terrorists, you have killed 116 unarmed Kashmiris in 2016. You have killed 1 lakh Kashmiris since 1990.
Respond to that, General G.D. Bakshi. General G.D. Bakshi, here you have an elected representative of the people.
And I have faced Indian terror. The area which I belong, we were subjected to forced labor for 14 years by army. Some 500 people would every day go and they would serve Indian army for 24 hours to construct bunkers, to go for the ROP. General Bakshi knows well. General Bakshi ko kahe, sine pe haath rakhe, kasam khaye, kya main jhoot bolta hu. So we have seen your terror. State terrorism in worst form. We condemn all.
You call that state terror, General G.D. Bakshi?
Engineer, half the economy in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah.
I would like to inform Mr. Rashid Engineer that virtually half the economy of Jammu and Kashmir, especially in the rural and forward areas, is run by the porter and pony money that the Indian Army doles out in such large numbers, in such large quantities. Everywhere where we have employed people, we have SNS impressed roles.
I am telling about forced labor.
Virtually my whole life.
I am telling about forced labor.
In the
from 1990 to 2004,
giggling like a schoolgirl.
Some 400 people. Dil pe haath rakhe kahiye kya main jhoot bol raha hu, sir?
You are talking of forced labor.
Prove your integrity. Tell tonight, tell today, tell tomorrow
that you were made.
सर आप दिल पर हाथ रख के बोलिए कि जो भारत सरकार की तरफ से पैसा आता है वो कहां जाता है? Where does that money go? Engineer Rashid. Or is that why everyone is rattled because the NIA is now carrying out raids? NIA is carrying out raids, इसीलिए हिल गए हैं सब कश्मीर में.
उनकी जेबों में जाता है.
किन की जेबों में जाता है? कौन हिल गया?
Send them to jail who are involved. Send them to jail. I have nobody to defend them. Do what you want to do. Send them to jail. I am nobody to defend them if anybody is guilty.
भरी हैं 8 से 9,000 करोड़ तो सब्सिडी देती है भारत की सरकार हर साल. वो कौन जाता है? आप जैसे लीडर खाते हैं. लोग
सब्सिडी अपने पास
नहीं देते.
रायशुमारी करो और फिर पता चलेगा.
आके चिल्लाते
नहीं, रायशुमारी की बात कहाँ से आ गई?
रायशुमारी करो.
रायशुमारी की बात कहाँ से आ गई? अरे पाकिस्तान हटे, पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर से. आप सच बोलना तो सीखिए सर जी.
चाहते हो या टीवी से कभी उतरते
सब्सिडी की बात आ गई, वहां से रायशुमारी की बात भी आ गई.
अगर रायशुमारी होगी तो पाकिस्तान हटेगा, पाकिस्तान अधिकृत कश्मीर से.
भारत की सरकार
हमारा सारा पानी पाकिस्तान को भेज दिया.
Good point you've raised. Good point, Engineer Rashid. Very good point you've raised.
पाकिस्तान को भेज दिया.
Telling you the truth.
Very good point, and let's discuss this. Let's discuss this. Engineer Rashid, you've raised a very valid point, sir. But my question is, Engineer Rashid, I have a question. Are elements in Kashmir rattled Sir, stay with me. Are people in Kashmir rattled because the NIA has been carrying out a series of raids for the past 2 days? Why is the Hurriyat conference so rattled? I'm coming to that question on the other side of a quick break. Engineer Rashid, Jill, GD Bakshi and all our guests, stay with us. A quick break. Back with lots more.